7 straight road wins. But here they're in a building where the Cavs were unbeatable or nearly unbeatable in the second half. They won 20 of their last 21 games in this building. James spins against Turner. Zeller the foul.
Drove it baseline and scored, and then corner 3. That's the type of versatility Sullinger has, Olynyk has. They have some guys who can really spread you out, like Mark was talking about.
J.R. Smith pulls back, gets rid of Bradley, and drops the 5.
And to get back to that, my problem is it's different if I'm asking you to sacrifice and you haven't. Those 3 guys, they had their payday. They were making money. So now it's about, okay, let's be
on the offensive board. Tall task for the Celtics right now.
James lobs it in. Gorgeous feed, and Thompson. Kevin Love back in, as is Irvin. Love's got a double-double in his first playoff game. Gets inside, draws the foul. In the regular season, when they were 20-1 in their last 21 home games, Love picks up and lays it in. Even
agree with you. We have to call him Isaiah Thomas. Tell us why, Coach.
Yeah, Isaiah is synonymous with one player. When you use just a first name, you got to go with Isaiah Thomas, not the great Zeke.
Turner.
He's at him and LeBron James, just mixing up those matchups against them.
All right, Lisa. They'll try an alley-oop to Brandon Bass. Moskov right there to defend.
Starting Olynyk in the second half instead of Zeller. And, Mike, I think the biggest issue for the
Bradley back to Olynyk. Extra pass, open Bass. Bass is.
And the roster fitting together. Their roster, this is a personnel league. Their roster fits together very well. And he made some tough choices as Crowder.
A 20-point lead as the Cavaliers have blown this one open. Tyler Zeller back in. Irving right up on Smart. Smart drives and finishes.
LeBron James enforcing him to the out.
Tyler just 24 years old, his 3rd year in the league. After coming from Dallas, played his college ball at Marquette. They really like him in Boston. Jerebko, pretty move from Jerebko, and gets the bounce. The All-Star break was their depth. Sullinger goes right at Kevin Love. They have shot 81% from the line, 22 of 27, the Cavaliers. Sullinger, as Irving took a stumble.
That is number 8 on the net. Forward, beautiful pass. Carroll, the pretty pass.
You know he's ready for this, and there's not too many people that can check him one-on-one. Interested in seeing how the Atlanta Hawks handle Joe Johnson defensively.
And this is where Atlanta is forward, fires, moving.
Now, if you're the Nets, you want to make sure you concentrate defensively. You can't let this game get too out of hand with this crowd and the efficiency of this offense.
Earl Ontic has checked in for the Hawks. This is
careless and having turnovers. Just have to love how much this team values the ball.
and off the inbound.
Up. What does that leave? The screener wide open, and if he catches it looking for the extra player, you'll get easy plays.
6'8", about 220. His dad played at Jacksonville University back in the 70s and actually was an 8th round pick of the old Buffalo Braves. Here's Darren Williams. Spot up three-pointers, and it's been very successful. He's been shooting 40% from downtown.
Well, what it does having a shooter like that, he spaces the floor. You need that to have a guy that the defense always respects.
Markel Brown.
Play together so you can have two ball handlers on the floor. Right now, only one ball handler, not including Thaddeus Young, who can drive to the hole.
Good play by Anderson to set it up for Bucks have an 8-point lead. Bogdanovich will throw in. Here's Williams for three. Yes.
Clean look from the perimeter here of the evening for him.
And the Portland Trailblazers, if they have open field goal opportunities, are a very good shooting team. Memphis does a good job of sticking with guys, but Batum able to knock that one down.
10 to shoot for Uber, mid-range look.
Yeah, that was a special couple games for LaMarcus Aldridge last year in the first round, Kevin. And great series for Portland this, after 14 years, finally getting into the second round.
Lewis Johnson, of course, has been surveying who's available, who isn't. Lewis, what about it? Both teams coming.
Blocks that shot, great timing at the rim.
We saw playing for the Spanish national team this summer, came into camp in great shape. And he has maintained his weight, really slimmed down since he began his career. Lobs outside, the lead for three.
Games already 18 in this game, so they're trying to force feed that offense through those two guys. They're going to need to respond in the second half.
Lewis Johnson talked to Terry Stotts as we began this third quarter of play.
Yeah, when Terry Stotts coming out, he said, listen, you just have to believe that
it's that Portland is going to have to pull together here as they talk among themselves the next couple of days. So the positives that you draw out of this ball game. Oh. Freak incident on the floor, no one around and no defenders around when they were playing Dallas back in Portland. Out, of course, for the year. That means 16 points, an excellent three-point shooter, terrific defender, can play a number of positions defensively.
Back to the 173 made threes. He was 9th in the league this year. Just such a pressure release for him. I'm kidding, Kevin. I'm kidding. Mark and Powell, you could argue it. I definitely think that Mark and Powell have had the best career that siblings have ever had in this league.
I'll remind that of JB the next time. Tom and Dick Van Arsdale.
Yeah, they were fantastic. And Mark let him know about it.
Jordan Adams in the lineup, outstanding rookie from UCLA. Calathes running right.
Vince Carter had sagged in, feet set, able to knock it in.
Allen back in, gives to Green, fakes and drives.
Blake came in, and he was leading the Denver Nuggets in scoring, and unfortunately, it just hasn't worked out for Portland. How Marc Gasol, he believes, is one of the most underrated players in terms of how many things he does from that position.
Backdoor lob thrown on. It's a 15-point Memphis lead with 6:29 to go in the first half. And Conley D's up on Lillard, trying to get a little space. Turns the corner on Randolph and laid it up and in.
Especially working off the high pick and roll, but one of the best mid-range shooters, certainly that Memphis has, but around the league.
Chris Kaman. Nice move. Memphis 58 points scored here in the first half. 23 seconds remaining. It's the team that's 20th in the league in scoring and just under around 98 points a ball game. Memphis. Aldridge jamming Randolph, turns and laid it. Matthews, arguably one of the top 10 two-way players in the NBA. What did they miss most from him here in the playoffs?
For 2 years, Kevin, they arguably had the best starting lineup. As we see the lob to Lillard, that's an easy two. You reminded me, Kevin, I'll have to go back and read Loose Balls, which is probably the best.
Terry Pluto wrote that book. Terrific book.
Encyclopedia, great stories of the colorful days of the ABA.
If you are a basketball fan, it is a great read. Here's Batum outside, triggering. One and 10 seconds left now for Portland on the inbounds. 4:49 to play. Here's the lob to Lillard. Catches, finger rolls it up and in. This against the Grizzlies. You see the 4 games in which they were 0-4, and they've lost 7 of the last 8 against the team.
Yeah, Memphis' defense has a way of doing that to you, Kevin.
Spurs have a foul to give. 39 seconds to play in the first quarter. Turkoglu. Spencer Hawes steps in for the first time. All bench players have their night for the Clippers. Bombers come in for San Antonio. It's Barnes the other way. And you saw Chris Paul back in the first quarter, a little bit winded, had to be called out of the game to catch his breath. He was as rubbed up as anybody. This is better. They have to go. Joseph is now on Paul, so Chris Paul has had 3 different defenders on him here in the first quarter. Wide open Griffin.
Like it. But defensively, over the last month and a half, one of the better teams.
Crawford hits again.
Quarter, now you start this fourth with a 3 by Patty Mills to cut into this lead.
Crawford got 2 straight and hits again.
Efficient in terms of team assist.
But it was so huge last year in the championship drive by San Antonio.
It's because of the shot.
Paul.
Different type of scenarios, lineups, matchups.
Duncan with the double-double. With 11 and 11. Chris Paul, the crossover in the crowd. What a play by Parker. Duncan gets the assist. The play out of that break. Hard screen by Griffin.
Are they going to have enough in the tank here to make another run to get back in this ball game?
Gallinelli lost his footing. They go inside to Griffin. Fouled by Duncan.
Reason why he is in the discussion for the Defensive Player of the Year.
Griffin, Reggie just talking about him with a series of moves, and he's in. With the offense of the LA Clippers, the most efficient offense in the league. Number 1 coming into this series. It's right over the cover.
In head-to-head matchup against the Spurs, he has pretty much gotten whatever he wants. 25 points, almost 10 rebounds. And he's gotten off to a slow start. He's only 3 of 9 with 9 points, but he's been aggressive offensively.
Shot clock is down to 6 here. Paul goes to Griffin. Losing it inside and picked up by Jordan. He sits. He is 3 of 9. He's been hitting almost 50% of his shots the last 2 months. Playing at the very top of his career. Diaw watches Griffin. Joseph will defend Paul. Great pass! What a pass! Holy with Parker against Paul.
It's almost a wash. Offensively, both of these guys really know how to put the ball in the basket. It's going to be interesting who can stop the other. That way to watch J.J. Redick and how he uses screens and uses his bigs, Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan down low underneath.
Leonard has taken 1 shot. Splitter finds Duncan. The bump into Jordan.
1 rebound, 1 assist.
Griffin hitting at the line to a 73% free throw shooter. Beautiful play.
And Jamal Crawford, and he hasn't found the rhythm since coming back after missing those 17 games with that calf injury.
He had a calf injury, right. It's been a while since he's had that great stroke. Ginobili with the spinner. Knocked away by Antonio. That's his third with his 4 points.
Already 12 bench points for San Antonio. They average about 40 during the regular season.
Good pass. The entry with D.
The Spurs in the 4 meetings, again, averaging 25 points and almost 10 rebounds.
The Clippers have missed 10 free throws, 8 missed free throws for San Antonio. Parker gets it back with a runner inside, and he gets it ball.
So, you know, when we get the switch with J.J. Redick on Tony Parker, he's got to be aggressive. I like it.
Parker 21. This ball is 8 of 14. Good lob inside. Dia quickly converts upon Duncan in there.
Game, but all 82 games with his shooting. I mean, just a great balance and flow. Seemed to make many mistakes. Remember last year during the playoffs, everyone was questioning Chris Paul and the turnovers.
Back in. Blake Griffin is struck back in.
I would go straight at Tim Duncan versus DeAndre Jordan. See if he can pick up that third foul.
It's Ginobili with 7 to fire and another.